What's up, everyone? Welcome back to All Things Nerdy. Today we have a really cool episode. We got back by popular demand, I guess, Steven. We're going to be talking about smoking some more meats, which is the same thing we talked about last time, but it's going to be a little bit more specific. We're going to be talking about pork specifically. So if you have any questions around, ribs or anything like that, there's so many pork things. I'm not going to start naming them. You can do so much different stuff. We're going to be running through all that, talking about what he likes to do, what I like to do, why what I like to do is wrong, and working through all that. But anyways, I'm Nate. Joe.
And when he says back by popular demand, it is based on our numbers. We looked. And the episode that he did that was previous, like our 18th episode, Smoking Meats, it has the most downloads, most time viewed, like everything like that. So, like, numbers don't lie. He is back by popular demand. So without further ado, Steven, talk nerdy.
Hey guys, Steven here. Joe talked to me about the numbers, and I said let's talk pork since Nate walked me down a rabbit hole of brisket. So, and then assuming football season, everybody wants to do ribs and pulled pork, so I made the suggestion.
My wife is cooking ribs right now.
Yeah, so am I. I have 2 racks in the smoker right now. So
I hate both of y'all, just so you know.
Yours probably. I'm not to knock my wife's cooking. They're going to be delicious, but she's cooking them in the oven, baking them all day, kind of thing. Yours are probably going to be a little better, I would assume.
I've tried that before. It did not go well.
The oven is just not the same. You don't get the same flavor, the same texture, the tender. I mean, they can be really tender, but they taste almost like steamed, I guess. I don't know what it is. It's just different for me from oven to smoker. I don't really know how to describe it, but honestly, I want to say, and this is probably bullshit and I'll get called on it at some point, but like you could blind taste test me, right? And I could tell you like this is smoker, this is oven, but you could probably get real tricky and like wrap them almost the whole time. That way it kind of stops the smoke flavor. It's probably trick me, but ultimately I feel like I could tell and would know if it was done correctly both ways.
And my wife, when she cooks them in the oven, she does wrap them like in tinfoil so the whole time. But again, there's that smoke like taste or flavor that you just don't get from the oven that you do when like how Steven's preparing them right now. Like, how far is that drive?
I'm watching the smoke come up my window right now. So
pan over to it. Like this is what you're.
You can't see it. It's behind my garage, but like it's just me and my neighbor's house creates a wind tunnel, so I don't know if it comes up right up there. But yeah, I've done like crock pot ribs before, and like they were fine, but it's basically just using the pork as a vessel for your sauce. It's like wings. Wings are a vessel for the sauce for the most part.
That's fair.
I mean, yeah, for the most part.
I talk about pork and then I bring up chicken, so now we're going to get on this rabbit hole.
I'm just not a big sauce person on most of like my pork or wings or anything like that. I will do buffalo sauce on wings, but when I first bought my smoker, one of the first things I did, got a bunch of wings, and it was literally like divided like 6 wings were this, 6 wings were this, 6 wings were this, and just smoked them all. But it was a lot of like dry rubs, different, like one was like ranch, one was like lemon pepper and things like that. I think I had one set that was barbecue and one set that was like, Frank's.
See, smoked chicken to me was weird. Like smoked pork, smoked beef, that's fine. But like if you give me a wing, like just give me a decent grilled fried wing with some sauce and I'll be good. But yeah, no.
I mean, I think anything with that smoky taste is good. Like, well, I won't say anything. But wings, I would add to the list of like, if I've had them smoked and they are better smoked. Like,
I did try to smoke a like bologna log, right? Like my wife went to the store and like got me like it was like 3 pounds or something of bologna, and I like scored it and tried to smoke it. Does not help it. I've seen people do it. I'm like, hey, that looks good. They eat it and they're like, oh, that's really good. And this falls under pork, so this is on topic.
I was gonna say, like, what is bologna? Like, is it technically pork?
I think it's everything, right? They just like whatever's discarded is going in it.
I don't think we want to know what bologna is.
No, but like
the bologna costs like $4.
I don't know. My wife bought it. I don't know. But dude, I was like, yeah, this is gonna be so good. I scored it. It looked good. Bro, it still just tastes like bologna. I was like, I don't want this. Get this out of here. So let's talk about your ribs. How'd you prepare them? How are you cooking them?
So, like the popular method for everyone is 3-2-1. I basically take that and use it as a guide. So I think I did like 3 hours unwrapped today for a total because I had meetings I had to put them on before the smoke goes up to temp. And then I wrap it. And then when I wrap it in foil, I spray the foil with apple cider and then coat it or baste it, whatever word you want to use, with some kind of sauce. And then I don't do the one part. I just throw it in a cooler for like another hour. The one thing I discovered early on, so if have you guys ever heard of like wet rubs versus dry rubs?
Mm-hmm.
So when I did a wet rub on ribs, they literally fell apart after like 3.5 hours. Like I couldn't even take them off without them like disintegrating.
That's what you want to happen there.
Really?
Right?
No, you want them to hold on just a little bit. So what I did is I started. Yeah.
You want them to be tender, Joe. You want them to hold on. You don't want the bone to just slide out. If you're doing like a sandwich or something, maybe. But what you want to be able to cut in between the bones, and you want to be able to pick up the bone, and with almost no resistance, just like bite it and the meat come, right? Like you don't want a lot of resistance there, but you don't want to pick up the bone in it. Yeah.
Well, I thought that was the whole point of like fall off the bone good. Like
I think personal opinion that's oversold.
Oversold. Okay.
Like it's not like it's like no. I remember this specifically because it was like I just lathered them in like this sugar, paprika, pepper, Worcestershire, whatever that word is, Worcestershire sauce, and then I did it, wrapped them. No, I took them off after 3 hours, and they literally just like crumbled in my hands. So we ended up having pulled pork ribs,
which probably not bad, probably delicious.
Which is why like I kind of got obsessed with it. So instead of like smoking like a 10-pound pork butt for like a party of like 15 people, because that's the max number of friends that I have, like 10 pounds of pulled pork is just way too much, and you eat pork for like a month. I'll just smoke 3 ribs that style and do like pulled pork sandwiches with baby back ribs, which is basically the same thing.
Dude, I bet that tastes way better though.
Yeah, it was way better. And it took like a third of the amount of time because ribs take 4 to 6 hours max, whereas a pork butt's going to take you 12 plus.
Yeah. And then still you could overcook it. You can undercook it. Like pork butt is not the most complex thing to cook, but you could definitely go wrong with it and come out like dry and just but the ribs are easy. I'm a big believer 3-2-1.
So you're saying like you don't want it to fall off the bone, but when it did,
it worked out.
It worked out, and you created this whole process that now you use like going forward. Yeah. I mean,
when people
signals like you do, but you don't.
I just figured out a way where like people want me to do ribs. Is like, what do you want? Do you want them to literally fall off the bone, or do you want to hold on by their teeth? And they can tell me what they want, and I can basically do like ribs to order.
That's impressive, actually. I'd be like, you want them cooked or raw? Because that's I got you.
Cooked or raw?
I do not make to order.
Joe just walks out, gets one of his pigs. Like, here you go. Here's some ribs.
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh, I would never eat our pig. Thank you very much.
Wait, Joe, you have a pig? When did you get a pig?
Not to say
yesterday.
We are talking about pork, so it's still on topic. We got a mini pig.
Joe, pigs aren't mini. Even mini pigs don't stay mini. Like that's not a thing. Your mini pig's gonna be the size of your dog.
We know, like it'll be the size of our husky, so it's fine. But yeah, we got a mini pig. I think last Friday, maybe. Yeah, last Friday, I believe. So we've had it for almost a week. Follows us around, oinks, that kind of stuff.
Man, looks so confused right now.
I just don't get it, man. Like you have so many animals, dude. Like, holy crap! And then you're like, we'll never eat it. The point of having a pig is to eat it.
Not a mini pig. It's like
your pig ain't mini.
right now it's like this big, and it might get the size of our dog. We're not
Because
gonna
it's a piglet. But you wait till that thing's like, so that was actually like, so mini pigs were a thing for a little bit of time. And then it came out that like all the mini pigs that were sold as a fad, turns out that they were just like little baby piglets and they grew to normal ass size pigs, Joe. You're going to have just a big old pig wandering around your yard. You're going to have to do like a mud pit. Yeah, I mean, bro, where do you get these animals? Where did you get a mini pig?
It's
Pig store.
Alabama, Nate. Like, what do you mean? Where did I get it? It's Alabama. And look, I saw the parents, the mom and the dad or whatever. They're not the size of like pigs. Like they were small pig, like smaller than a potbelly pig. So it's not gonna be small by any means, but it's not gonna be giant either. So.
Okay,
So
we're getting off
homegrown
topic.
bacon.
Yeah,
Homegrown bacon.
Stephen, back to your smoking meats. Pets not.
Have you guys ever done bacon bites?
bacon?
Yeah, like you
no,
get pork belly, like smoked pork belly. It's basically bacon, and you cube it up and then you smoke that.
So I have not done that with pork belly. When I get pork belly, I tend to air fry it. Actually, air fried pork belly is amazing.
Just smoke it next time.
We've air fried pepperoni chips too. Wonder if that would be good. I don't know. Let's try new things.
Yeah, so I've done pork belly bites for New Year's Eve, where you just get a giant thing of pork belly, cube it up, and you smoke it. There's no real way to smoke it. Then just throw it in with a bunch of sauce and butter. Yeah,
It's kind of like burn ends, but pork belly style. Because I mean, that's what you do
Basically,
with
yeah.
burn ends. Yeah.
it's basically what it is, but pork belly, and it's delicious if you like bacon. If
Oh,
you don't
we
like bacon,
yeah.
like my wife, it doesn't work because she
We
says
got
it's too fatty.
got a couple comments. Stephanie says, "How big is a pig currently?" I mean, probably about the size of a cat, standard like cat. And then Stephanie also says, "Smoked pork belly sounds delicious."
It is,
I would agree.
unless you
Yeah.
don't like fatty bacon, and then it's a problem.
Which I don't get. First off, the fat part of the bacon is the best part of the bacon. You know,
Yes,
like
I agree.
I don't like my bacon like crazy crispy. I prefer it to have a little chew to it, a little bit of texture. So like I love pork belly and all that stuff. Smoked pork belly sounds good. Now, have you ever air fried pork belly? Because if you haven't, I recommend it. It is so good. It's quick. It's easy. So we
Isn't it-
played
isn't it
Magic.
things like,
Go ahead.
what would that be different from like frying it?
I mean, that is essentially what it is. Air frying it, frying it. Yeah, it's easier. It's cleaner, I guess. But we used to play Magic on Monday nights, and that would be something we'd do. We'd make a bunch of pork belly and like just air fry a ton of it, bro. Going like that quick.
So do you cube it up and then air fry it?
Yeah,
Okay. Do you throw it in sauce?
it depends. You can do what you want. I do a lot of like salt, pepper, some garlic, things like that. But some people like sauce. I don't really put the sauce on there because A, it's messy to clean. B, not a sauce person. But Tony's, a lot of Tony's, son.
What is Tony's?
Oh, what the?
See.
Bro.
So in Richmond, Tony's is a pizza place down the street.
Okay, well, Tony's is a seasoning, is a Cajun seasoning, a Creole seasoning, right? Like
You think
Tony's
they do Creole
is.
stuff up here?
No, I forget. Y'all don't have taste buds, right? Like,
Just attack our guest. But I will say, at least do what Tony's
Nate probably cooks his steaks well done.
no, come on, you know better. We both know better than that, right? Come on.
I don't know, your taste buds may have changed traveling in Europe, having to eat stuff differently. You may have been like, you know what? I just need my steak well done now.
God, no. First off, if I was a well done person, I would just never eat steak because, hamburger. And like, no, medium rare to rare is where it's at.
Stephanie says, Steven, you're in luck. You can get it in the grocery stores in New York. So, I mean,
It's only like
your
what,
palate, Steven.
7 hour train ride. I
Bro,
don't want to drive.
so Steve, I want to change your life. When I get back to the States, I'm gonna have you DM me your address and I am going to ship you some Tony's. And your life is forever gonna be changed.
Yeah.
I do have a barbecue sauce brand that is like life changing.
Okay.
We will trade, man.
Head's Country, they have an entire line. It is life changing.
If I do barbecue sauce, I'm a Sweet Baby Ray's kind of guy. It's, solid.
Now you got to cut. So I think you have to cut Sweet Baby Ray's. It's too sweet, too much sugar. So if you cut it with some other stuff, it's really good.
Okay. See, I'm not a sauce person, so I don't do a ton with sauces. I usually do the Sweet Baby Ray's, like, what is it, the sweet and spicy, or just the spicy part? That's my home. That's where I live.
It's like, I just think it's so thick that it doesn't really work out that well. It's basically like pouring ketchup onto your stuff. It's like that kind of thickness. So
that's
cut it
not
with some
true.
water. Yes, just cut it with some water, make it a little more fluid, and it's way better.
So so let's talk pork. Let's talk ribs for a second. Let's talk about what I do, right? So Sweet Baby Ray's. First off, I dry rub. I do the 3-2-1. Go to Costco, buy some ribs. It's a big old pack. Also, it doesn't have the membrane, so you don't got to take the time removing that. If you buy ribs with the membrane, remove it with a paper towel. Anyways,
by the way, weird. I had 2 racks of ribs today from the same store. One rack had the membrane removed. One did not. Really, really weird.
That is weird because I'd be over there with the one that had it already moved. Like, why can I not figure this out?
Dude, seriously, I did that for 5 minutes. I was like, I was really confused. Yeah.
Yeah. So the ones I bought from Costco, I've never had a membrane. So like,
how do you take your membrane off? Paper towel, butter knife?
Paper towel.
Yep.
That easy. But then I do dry rub. Dry rub are your choice. I tend to do like a pork dry rub, or I'll do like salt, pepper, garlic powder, some onion powder, Tony's, and things like that. I'll make my own. And then I'll do the 3 hours. I'll take it off. I will wrap, but I'll wrap with honey and butter on top of it. And
I can get behind that.
Yeah, it's good. And I'll add some more seasoning into the honey and butter, like more Tony's, more pepper, all that onto it. 2 hours, take it off 1 hour. If I'm going to do sauce, I think the last time I did it, we had 3 racks. We did 1 sauce, 1 dry rub, and 1 was like some kind of Mediterranean style. I don't remember exactly what we did, but it was really good. But anyways, and then if you're doing that, you'll put the sauce on. And the Sweet Baby Ray's actually glazes really nicely because of the sugar content, because of how thick it is. Like, it'll stay on the ribs, it'll glaze nicely, and it will give you the color and the texture that you want with the ribs. So in this situation, the Sweet Baby Ray's is money.
No, I agree with that. Yeah, sugar content's key. Sugar content's key. And then if you want to get like your ribs to be red, paprika is the trick.
Why does it matter for the red?
So they don't look like they're just like pork colored. It makes them look prettier, I guess.
Yeah. So it'll also help a lot with the bark coloring. Not bark. Well, is it still bark on the pork? Or just the color, like you said, red. Like, it just makes it a more appealing color. It looks like it comes from a grill and a smoker versus just the off-color pork.
Oven?
Yeah, the oven.
It's presentation. Let's see.
So I have my wife's sister's boyfriend. Yeah, boyfriend. He was making ribs for some friends, and he had never made ribs before. And he hit up our group chat, and I broke down the whole 3-2-1 method. He was like, "No, it's confusing," and put them in the oven, and then like sent us a picture of them. He was so proud of them. He's like, "They tasted good." I was like, "Bro, those do not look good." Please don't give those to people.
So this was a few years ago. So me and my brother actually did like a rib off, I guess. And we smoked 1 rack of ribs, literally nothing. And then he did it his way. He did it and I did it my way. We found out the trick to ribs is basically just the seasoning at first is what adds all of your flavor. Actually, maybe we did 4 racks.
Unless you just douse it at the end. And some people will like do the glaze with the sauce and then at the end add more sauce. But at that, like you said earlier, it's just the vehicle for the sauce. Like, you are tasting the sauce, and that is it.
Yeah. The rack that had nothing on it was just very bleh. It was just kind of there. But everything else was really good.
Question. Pork ribs versus beef ribs. Where are you at?
Kind of really depends on my mood. So like it really does. Like a beef rib, like that's basically brisket. When you get down to it. I mean, if I'm in the mood for brisket, I probably prefer to smoke beef ribs one time. It only takes like 6 hours to smoke beef ribs versus 12 plus hours for an entire brisket. Same thing. I mean, it's a toss up. I do both. Every time I go to a barbecue place, I get both.
Oh, we got Luke weighing in. He says pork.
I think the
Luke.
better question is baby back versus spare.
I mean, I think I'm a baby back person. I prefer baby back to spare ribs. Joe?
I'm just gonna be honest. This is out of my element. I probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Like if
What?
you gave me one of these, I ate them, I'd be like, they were ribs. They were delicious.
So spare ribs
you
are
would
the
know.
ribs. Spare ribs are the part of the rib that are closer to the bacon. The baby back ribs are the top of the back, which is closer to like the pork loin.
Okay.
And you would know, Joe.
If you think about your little piggy.
Can you go get your pig and hold it up so we can use it as like a
Like a
demonstration?
diagram.
Here's the pig. Oh, she would squeal. It would not be good for anyone.
So I think for me, when it comes to beef versus pork, what you said is so important is the time. The time is so much faster.
Well, you
All the
did.
distractions today.
You mentioned pork loin. Can you smoke pork loin as well? Or
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that just as good as like when you bake it?
I've honestly never done it. You just have to smoke it. I mean, it's like smoking any like large piece of meat. You just have to smoke it to a temp.
Yeah. And I mean, so the thing about a pork loin is it's one of those things. It's all about what's put on it and the sauce. I've said I'm not a sauce person. When it comes
Yeah, you
to
say you
pork
don't like
loin,
sauces, but you keep
also
putting sauce on everything.
no, that is not true. I already said I don't put sauce on most of my barbecue. I don't put sauce on a lot of my wings. I said my ribs are honey and butter. So I guess like that could make a sauce,
Yeah.
a delicious sauce. But like a pork tenderloin, Steph and I, we have like this mango habanero, like really, it's like spicy but sweet. It is so good on something like pork loin.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah. You can get it at
I've actually
Costco.
never-
Or you could.
I've never smoked pork loin. It's
Might
not a
be
bad
it.
idea.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing with the pork loin would be it drying out. Like you got to just be real
Oh, the
careful
tail.
with it.
Just
Yeah, because it's an uneven cook a lot of times. Like it's like bigger, a little smaller. Not massively different, but so you just got to worry about cooking to make sure either rotate or keep the larger side on the hotter side.
I would say break it down into pieces where like you have like a section of pork loin that's like all basically the same size, and then the tail's obviously gonna be done sooner. So you can do that and have like little mini pork loin bites, which is what I've done with spare ribs. When I break down spare ribs, like all the stuff you cook off, like the rib bites or whatever, the riblets, you smoke those and you pull them off early and have a little snack while you're smoking.
okay.
That's the best mid-smoke stacks.
Yeah. It was great.
That's
First time I did it was like
cooking.
11 o'clock at night when they were ready, and it was a little midnight snack.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we can all agree. I'm trying to think of all the pork products that you can smoke and cook. I mean, to me, I think ribs are like king, right? Like, I don't know what else. I mean, I guess pulled pork is a big one. Pork butt.
Pork shoulder, bacon.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much the whole
Bacon. Bacon's popular in other ways. Most people aren't like, I'm
Pork belly and
smoking
bacon are the same thing.
Yeah, even then, like there's so many. I guess people. I mean, people do smoke pork belly. You smoke pork belly, but I don't think it's as big as like ribs and pulled pork, like and all that stuff. I guess if you go to a barbecue joint, a lot of them have pork belly, so maybe it is. I'm like working myself through this here.
I'm probably more exposed to pork just being in Virginia, because Virginia, North Carolina, it's all about pork, whereas down like New Orleans, Texas, is all beef.
Yeah. I can't tell you though, New Orleans barbecue, not great. It is just not like top of the line. Like New Orleans does food really, really well. They do. But their barbecue there, just not the best.
What about like West Louisiana?
If I'm going West Louisiana, like I'm just gonna go over, Texas.
Well, I was thinking like there's like probably some like folks that, you know, some.
I'm sure there's probably some people
overlap.
that moved from Texas into West Louisiana. That's
Yeah.
make some really good barbecue.
But yeah, no, I mean, pork. There's limited stuff. It's like pork butt, pork shoulder, pork belly.
So what's the king?
Ribs.
What's the king? All pork items that you're smoking.
I'll probably say ribs because ribs. It's better. You can get better presentation for ribs versus pulled pork. Like pulled pork, like you can mess up a pulled pork smoke and have horrible meat, and then hide it with sauce. It's really hard to mess up a pulled pork or pork belly or not pork belly, a Boston butt or a pork shoulder or smoke, because then you just hide it with sauce. But ribs, like you can mess up ribs really easy. It's basically the opposite of beef. For beef, you can mess up. It's harder to mess up a brisket.
I can tell you the last brisket that I cooked, I overcooked the shit out of it. My thermometer was like off or something. I needed to like recalibrate it because like even when I pulled it off, I was like, bro, there's no way it's not done right. And I reprobed a couple times and stuff like that, and it was just showing like super under. And I was like, there's just no way. There's 100%. So I finally just pulled it off, opened it up because like I'm done dealing with this. Cut into it and it was just dry. I was like, you mother effer. So my thermometer was just off so bad.
Yeah, I think ribs are also or pork ribs are hard because of that. Because you can't just smoke it to a temp. You have to like be able to eyeball it.
Yep. I mean, I think that's where the 3-2-1, especially for beginners, right? So we always ask, if you're new, you're getting into this, how do you do it? If you're new,
3-2-1 is the safest.
Yep. And you want to get into smoking ribs, it's 3 hours, uncovered, no sauce, 225 on the smoker. You can do 250. Lower the better, in my opinion. 225, 3 hours. You already have it seasoned, all that. What'd you say?
I was like, what am I set at right now? I'm set at like 235 to 260 right now.
I mean, it'll fluctuate. And then you pull it off, you wrap it. You can put some sauce in there. Like I said earlier, big fan of like honey, butter, some seasoning, things like that. Then you go back on for 2 hours. Then you pull it off and you put whatever sauce you want on there and you put it back in. You allow it to glaze and kind of finish for an hour. Then you take it out and then you give it a little bit and then you eat.
What side of the rib do you have face the heat?
Oh,
Your own side
okay.
or each side?
Ooh, I'm gonna have to go back.
I was debating this like an hour ago of like what I needed to do.
You don't have to.
I go bone side down, meat side up.
Yeah, I think that's what I do. Yeah, because the bone protects the meat from like being over smoked or charred or whatever you want to call it.
I have no idea. It just feels right to put the bone on there versus the meat.
You like the arc?
The arc? I have one of those contraptions. It doesn't work very well.
I have a question. So, why is it called Boston butt?
I looked this up the other day, but I forget the answer.
Hold on, we got this. Y'all talk, and I'll look it up.
Because it's actually like the shoulder, right?
It's the shoulder. Yeah, it's not actually the butt of the pork.
Yeah.
Okay.
In Boston, yeah, you can read.
Okay, the low-valued cuts were packed into butts or barrels. The folks in Boston used to cut their shoulders in a certain way that became the common way to cut up a hog, and we now call it a Boston butt.
It's just because people in Boston cut it a certain way and put it in a barrel?
Yep.
100%.
Okay, but now why were barrels called butts? Okay, rabbit hole, but still. Like what?
I guess you could. Oh, I guess you could smoke like a leg of ham too.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's a pretty common thing, right?
Especially around like holidays, Thanksgiving's coming up. There's gonna be a ton of people smoking some ham.
Yeah, I think my brother smokes a ham every year. I know my family like makes a ham, but I know I say make like they oven or whatever. I am a honey baked ham guy, because theirs is amazing and delicious. Not sponsored, wish we were, but
Christmas with the cranks. But yeah, no, that was the ham honey baked ham. That's what she went after the entire movie.
As she should, cause it is amazing. So they're like, what is it, like sugar crusted? It's literally like you can like crack it, right? It is just so good.
See, here it's all about the salty ham, the country ham, where it's been like cured in salt for like forever, and it just so good. It just tastes like salt.
So this is another thing: ham for Thanksgiving or Christmas or both.
Both.
No.
Both.
Yes. Both.
No.
Look, because turkey to me is too dry, so I gotta have like some ham and turkey for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's both.
And Christmas, it's just ham. Like you don't have to have the turkey.
So Thanksgiving is like turkey and ham, right? Because turkey can be really good if you cook it properly. It can be moist and delicious and all that. But for Christmas, I mean, I guess I could do a ham, but I would want like a sweeter ham, like a honey baked ham. If I was to do a ham for Christmas, it would be a honey baked ham, the sugar one, the sweet one, or whatever. But I don't think I'd want to do a salty, like just normal ham for Christmas. That's not where I'm at.
Salty ham, so good. So good.
Why not both? Just have one of each. Yeah, like, why not?
Yeah.
Then you
I
can
think we actually did that last Christmas. We had one oven baked ham, one smoked ham.
Ooh.
So, well, disclaimer also, right? I'm not around my family for Christmas. Usually it's just like me and my wife, or I go hang out with my godkids or something. But so like we're not cooking a whole ham. We usually do like steaks and stuff like that, which are not a traditional Christmas meal, but
Chinese food.
That's yeah, I mean she's from New York. She'd be down Chinese food on Christmas probably. Yeah. She's shaking her head, yeah. I can see your legs, actually, Steph.
We have two guests today.
Oh man! Well, it's getting kind of late over here. But Steven, do you have anything else you want to talk about? Anything you want to share? Any secrets? I feel like most people have like secret barbecue techniques that they don't like to share.
That's the 3-2-1. I think works. And then when you wrap, just make sure you put stuff in there. I mean, you and I differentiate. I said make your sauce more liquidy than salad. At least when you wrap it. Because then it can just cover it.
Nate disagrees.
Don't put the sauce on there when you're wrapping it. I mean, I guess you can. So you can, 100%, right?
You put honey and butter. I put like barbecue sauce and like vinegar and like all this stuff in it. Like, and then it caramelizes and it starts creating something. And then you pull it off and it'll caramelize more and make it even more better. More better.
Vinegar on ribs sounds terrible. So,
I mean, I would have to agree with Nate on that. That does sound pretty like opposite.
Well, it's like I said it last time. There's a barbecue place in Williamsburg where it's like they made a hybrid of like the vinegar and the Kansas City, and it's delicious.
Kansas City is also my least favorite style of barbecue because they rely on their sauce so much. Like their barbecue. The barbecue I've had, and I've had some like, this is a famous Kansas City style, whatever. It's still, they rely on sauce heavily. And they'll tell you, like, they are very proud of their ketchup, like base sauces, and they're all those things. They're very proud of it. But so when you say like vinegar in Kansas City, I'm like, that's vinegar ketchup.
So just think like Sweet Baby Ray's and like make it more liquidy with a little bit of a vinegar tartness.
I don't want to hear that.
Often is just different area. Go back to your Creole gumbo.
Whoa! Are you really going to throw shade towards gumbo?
Oh.
Wow. Anything you say about food moving forward does not matter because you just threw shade at gumbo. Joe, clip this, put it on TikTok. It'll be like our most viral video. This dude hating on gumbo. Ridiculous. Gumbo.
You're going to have the whole state of Louisiana just on you from now on. Like,
dude, people outside. So people in Louisiana do gumbo the best, but people outside of Louisiana, everybody just loves gumbo for the most part, except for people from where you're from. I guess y'all,
Brunswick
know delicious, amazing things.
He can't smoke it, so he refuses to eat it. So,
Yeah, but you can smoke the chicken that's going in there. You can put the seafood on the smoker if you want to. What is your little region known for, Steven? Where you're from? Like if I come to your neck of the
Virginia?
woods, yeah. Like what are you gonna like? If I come to your neck of the woods and you're like, Nate, this is like what my hometown is known for. What is it?
Pork barbecue.
I don't believe that.
Yeah. Pierce's Pit Barbecue has been going since like 1972.
So pork barbecue is very much an Eastern thing, like you said, up
It
the
is.
Carolinas into Virginia. So yeah, I mean, I can see that.
But they actually still
Do
have
you
the
take
original.
back your? Go
They
ahead.
still have the original smoking pit that they opened up in '71,
that's cool.
and it's right off 64, which is the highway. And truckers used to like this little road, like 18-wheelers would be like half a mile down the road just because it was so good.
What I'm hearing is, Nate, we
Dang.
might need to do a road trip and just go meet up with Steven.
So we've actually talked. When I come back to the States, I'm supposed to come down there and hang out at some point. So he's gonna like smoke something up, you know.
What's down there? Because last time you thought you were in Pennsylvania, you were close.
I mean, that's close enough. That's about as close as I'm gonna get. You know?
The food isn't good enough for him to get that close.
So let's talk about East Coast, and even between like North Carolina and South Carolina, there's a differentiator in like barbecue styles, right? So like North Carolina, Virginia's y'all are heavy vinegar, like South Carolina and like some of Georgia.
Mustard.
What is it? I think it's mustard and some vinegar, and then and then you have Memphis style, which is like a lot of dry rubs, but it's like your pork rubs and your beef rubs and all those. You have Kansas City, which is just ketchup based barbecue sauce. Yeah, they don't do a lot with the meat. It's all about the sauce. And then you have Texas style, which is like Dalmatian style, which is salt, pepper, and garlic for the most part, and then just cooked to perfection, deliciousness, the best of all of them.
Not all
So Nate wants to move to Texas. Got it.
I mean, I wish I could just bring Texas barbecue to me. I don't really want to live in Texas. If I did, it'd probably be Austin. But like, I don't know. I don't know. If I could
There's a barbecue place in Richmond where they basically copied all Texas recipes and is by far the most popular barbecue place in the city.
Just saying. Even y'all don't love that vinegar
I went
anymore.
there.
Your taste buds are evolving.
I went there last week. It's delicious.
You're catching up to the times, man. Y'all's taste buds evolving, learning what's really good versus what's terrible. Although I will say, I think even Texas people, I think a lot of them will spritz with some apple cider vinegar.
Mm-hmm.
It just helps break down the proteins and the fat and not proteins.
It helps
it
helps
it
helps keep it moist. It adds some moisture to the process.
Yeah. I mean, even so I do the same thing. So like when I smoke at the house, apple cider vinegar, I'd spritz like a brisket and stuff every once in a while. You don't want to spritz it too soon. You'll fuck up the bark. Don't do that. But all right, guys.
Yeah, so say it's 2:08, so we're over time. But it's even before we end, any last words, maybe directed at Nate,
Nate's only half right.
Well, all right. Well, thanks so much for coming out and watching, and I guess we'll see y'all next week.
All right.
We're definitely gonna split that, or we're gonna clip that and put it on TikTok. And I'm gonna push. I'm just comment every day until it takes off by you hating on gumbo. Just so you know.
Iron Man 2.